All right, man. Thank you guys for tuning back in to the DeezNutz Comedy Show. I'm saying comedy show, but podcast. You got myself. You got comedian Grossman.
What's up, fam?
You got comedian Dave Lawson.
So it's not the Al Rucker show no more?
This ain't the Al Rucker show.
Al Rucker no more? Okay.
We can switch it up. We can go either way. So we're gonna do these nuts right now.
Depends on what your taxes say.
And then we got, what you finna say? You finna say something? And then we got State Rep Jarvis Johnson, man. How you been?
He ain't never been with no nuts before.
Hey, man, look. I got invited. Nobody told me the title of the show, man. And I think Al did that on purpose. He's like, "No, we want you to come. We're going to talk about some politics, man." Then I get here, these nuts. Okay, that's what we doing today.
No. We switched it up either way, man. But hey, you know what? We had to get you on. We had Ron last week.
Right on.
And Ron, man,
Very good show.
He did a very good show. We actually dropped his episode this morning.
Good deal.
Ron a pretty good man. We got Ada Edwards next Tuesday. We got her.
No.
Amanda Edwards.
I was gonna say no.
No, not
if
Ada.
you have Sister Ada Edwards on, I'm
No, not Ada.
look.
No, Amanda.
Our dearly departed sister.
No.
No longer
How
here,
you
brother.
pull that off?
Yeah,
No.
right, wait a minute.
See that? I'm sitting there thinking.
Yeah, no. I don't know why I
do it
said
over there.
Yeah, I don't know why I said
We'll
do that paradigm.
Amanda. I
got
just spoke to her yesterday. Amanda. So we have
Yeah, man. Okay, yeah,
And
we
we'll
know
go with
her.
that
Little
stuff.
light skin. Yeah, okay.
There you go.
And we ain't gonna tell us these nuts yet.
No, we're not. We gonna. She gonna be on the
Pick it
album.
up on-
These politics.
These
politics.
politics.
Yeah, call it. Oh
Yeah.
my God.
But Jarvis, man, talk to us, man. So how's it been in the life of being a state rep? I mean, we saw the stuff that you guys was going through a couple of weeks ago, probably about a month ago, in regards to the getting down there to Austin and walking out and all that.
Yeah.
Tell me
Well,
about that.
to be clear, number one, I've been in politics for a very long time. As a city council member back in 2005, I, did a lot of work there. Then I was a state rep from 2015 to 2024.
Yeah.
So I wasn't in session last session because I ran for Senate.
Okay.
And when I ran for Senate, it was Senate District 15. I lost by 41 votes.
Okay.
To be the third black senator in the state of Texas, because we are woefully underrepresented in the state of Texas. So we allegedly we make up 13% of the population. I happen to know that's not true.
Okay.
We make up far more than 13% of the population because the largest number of black folks in this country resides right here in Texas. So when they say that we only make up 13% of the population, they're not telling the truth. But we only have 2 representatives in Senate, and that's the most we've ever had. And so I ran for Senate in a seat that people would probably say that was a hard, it was almost impossible.
Okay.
And so I ran. It was when you look at the statistics, it was 21% black, 29% white, 42% Latino, and the rest other. And conventional wisdom would tell you, man, you can't win that as a black man trying to run, but I came within 41 votes. So
Man, that had to be tough though. 41 votes.
I mean,
As opposed, if you got blown out, hey, it wasn't meant to be. Then someone say 41 votes.
Man, a loss is a loss. I don't care how you look at it, man.
Well,
An L is an L.
You know what? Some people feel that way, but to me, and it's just me, everyone had their own different. If I get blown out, I'm like, man, I wasn't supposed to be out there with that boy anyway. But if I lose on a last second shot in a game, I'm crumbling. I'm crumbling on the last second shot.
I never
You didn't have that attitude?
I never had attitude because I put 100% in, 100% every single time. I ain't no Allen Iverson. Ain't just I don't miss practice, man.
Right.
I'm a game day. I'm a game day gamer, but I put in the work. So the fact that I put in the work and we worked our butts off and we were able to do some things that people didn't expect us to do. And I think a lot of that had to do with when in the primary, there were 7 people in the race. And I had a 20-point lead. And it blew everybody's mind like, where did that come from?
Yeah.
Right.
How did he had a 20, it's almost unheard of to have a 20-point lead over that many people in a race.
Right.
Right. And so a lot of people, I think, kind of rested on their laurels. They were, oh man, you got that. Oh man, you beat the brakes off of them in that first half. That's the first half.
Finish the job.
And a lot of people, kind of rested on the laurels. And I think And one of the other things that happened was between the primary and then the runoff, there were 2 storms. You know what I'm saying? We had 2 storms that hit Houston.
Yeah, true.
And in particular, hit Acres Homes the hardest. I was without lights for 7 days myself. And then on election day, another storm, election day storm hit. And it knocked out the lights at Acres Home Multi-Service Center where we vote, which is my base. Wow. And so I won the early vote, I won the mail ballot vote, and I was winning all the way up until midnight. And then by midnight come, 41 votes came in and beat me. So,
wow, man.
You know, and I don't make excuses or anything like that, but
some things are just facts. It's not excuses.
So, no, I mean, I always look at it like God said, what's for you is for you. And that may not have been for me. And so the door, you know, you stay ready so you never got to get ready and it's on to the next. Because if I got to, you know, languish over that and lament over that, I'm like, oh, man. And if I'm doing all that, then I didn't put the work in. So I'm going to put that work in, leave it all on the floor, and hey, man, let the rest take care of itself.
Let chips fall, amen.
Right on.
So what's your plans now moving forward?
So there's a lot of things that have been going on in the last session. The dictator president that we got has decided that he wanted more Republican seats across this. When I say Republican seats, I'm talking about congressional seats. Because the midterm is coming up. Generally in the midterm is when bodies change. You know, that's when generally different parties start taking over because they've had a chance to see the president, see what he was about.
Right.
So it always happens. But Donald Trump this time said, we ain't gonna do that. And so he started going around the country and trying to get everybody to redistrict. And came to Texas, and Texas is an easy one for him because he got a lot of MAGA-loving folks out here, and they decided to redistrict, and they redistrict to pick up 5 more seats. And so they drew a lot of Democratic seats out and made them Republican leaning. There were 4 black Congress people in this state. We only have 3 right now because, you know, Sylvester Turner passed away.
Yeah, right.
They drew all 3 of them out of their seats.
So that's why I knew Al Green is one of them, right?
They drew Al Green out, they drew Mark Veazey out, and they drew Jasmine Crockett out of her seat.
Wow.
So what will end up happening is conventional wisdom will tell you they made the 18th congressional district stronger black leaning. So that would give Al Green an opportunity because they just took his district and combined a little bit of the 18th congressional district, which kind of goes up north, and they just combined those 2 districts. And so you would believe that Al Green will run for that. So we'll pick 1 seat back up.
Is that enough?
Hell, no. Hell no.
They take away 5.
Well, the way that you said,
we had 4.
I know when you say we're going to pick 1 back
We're going to pick 1 back up.
Gotcha.
We had 2 in the city of Houston because remember, it was Sheila Jackson, it was Al Green and Sheila, Al Green and Sylvester. So we lost 1, and so with this redistricting, they then redistrict District 29, which has always been a Latino leaning seat. But what they did was they took all of the district from 29 and they moved it all the way east. And took all of those votes and took all of that. And then they moved the 29th district, which is everything north of 610, between 59 and 290, everything north of...
Who gives the okay for all that?
It's the legislation. The legislators do that. We could have done that, you know, of course, if they wanted to do something right, they would have put it to the voters. But, you know, when they can't win, they cheat, man.
They cheat.
Right.
When they can't win,
That's what they do, and they do it regularly.
Right.
Did you notice? This is one thing that stood out to me, that after Trump lost to Biden, that's all they went around. Oh, it's a setup. It's a rig. They did this. They did that. When he beat Kamala, you never saw not one Democrat go out there and say, "Oh, it's been rigged. All this was rigged." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Donald Trump is full of you know, at the end of the day, y'all cuss on this show?
Yeah, we cuss. Cuss.
Yeah,
Cuss.
yeah, full of shit.
Yeah, we DeezNutz.
So look, you got to remember, Donald Trump is a narcissist, whole lying individual who doesn't understand politics. He just understands how to be a bully. You got to remember, in 2016 when he was running, so you got to remember when Ted Cruz when he lost to Ted Cruz in their caucus, in their primaries, he lost in Iowa to Ted Cruz. Right. A lot of people don't remember this. Yeah. And the first thing out of his mouth was, it was rigged. They cheated. When Donald Trump doesn't win, he says they cheated.
Yeah.
This fool didn't get an Emmy. For what? For The Apprentice? Please. The Apprentice. You're fired. No, that's not even entertaining, right?
Yeah,
but he didn't get an Emmy. It was rigged. Anytime he doesn't win, it's rigged.
Oh yeah, this go back to them hotels when he was doing the casino. If he didn't get when they
it's like a spoiled
give it
kid.
to you, I forget the name of it, when the contract to it. Whatever. It's fake. Some wrong. It can't just be. I lost it.
Yeah, but that's just how he is. And so in this country today, we've gotten to that point where we're so divided that people don't want to admit that they're wrong. And Donald Trump has opened the door to allow the freedom of their racism to be out front.
Right.
Where back in the day, it was kind of like
tempered down,
tongue in cheek. You know, you saw some,
right?
But you didn't see it a lot. You saw it.
Right.
We felt it. You know, we felt it in the streets. We felt it with police. We felt it in banking. We felt it.
Right.
You know, we can't get no loans. You know. But now it's like all cards on the table. The Supreme Court on September 8th made the decision that any ICE agent can pull anybody over based on their skin color.
That is true.
What?
That is true.
How? Okay, so let me get this straight. You're going to pull me over based on my skin color, which means you can make the assumption that I'm an illegal, but based on my skin color.
Yeah.
Like, what? Okay. And so the question has to be, if you can pull me over based on my skin color, so you're doing this for what? For protection, for safety.
Yeah.
You know, what are you doing this for?
Yeah.
And a lot of times you say, this is for safety because a lot of those immigrants are coming over here and they're dangerous. And I said, let's just take a look at the stats. How many, and Google is easy, AI is easy.
Oh, yeah.
How many illegal immigrants kill American citizens versus how many white mass shooters kill Americans? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right. Them numbers don't even compare.
Yeah,
but
should you be pulling over every white boy you see driving in a car? Should you pull over every white kid you see that is on the video game? Because those are the ones who are going out there doing all this mass shooting. Mm-hmm. So again, it's all Donald Trump is giving this freedom to allow people to allow their inner self to come on out, and they doing it.
You know, when I actually look at it like it really started when Obama got in there, because they was able to. You have to realize everything was America.
Right.
Same way we were talking about when Obama got in office. What?
Right.
They couldn't believe it. And they started acting out then. Trump was the one to come along and say, yes, I'm going to allow y'all to be who you really want to be. Because they started doing crazy stuff. You know, I always go back to when Obama was in office and they went ballistic when he wore the tan suit. Remember the tan suit?
That was his biggest controversy.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
If you could go back and look at Google and go back and look at some of the arguments and the craziness they was doing, this is so unprecedented. This is unprecedented. He wore a tan suit. And this was on all the primetime shows.
Yeah, no, I remember that.
And Trump come along and this motherfucker, bitch, say anything he want to say. Well, that's just his language.
It's the hypocrisy, man, and the contradiction. Because social media wasn't big back when Obama was in. It started really coming on.
But it's becoming his second term.
They used to say, "What president goes and is tweeting or twitting or whatever whatever they're trying to call it." And now I look at it, you go, So it's like you said, man, they are never going to accept the fact, and unfortunately, that is the inherent racism that is within this country. And I don't like talking about race, brother, because at the end of the day, we know how to be us. We know how to we know how to rise. We know how to take lemons, make lemonade. You know, we know how to spread that. You know, these
we've been doing it.
Right. We know how to make these horrible ingredients y'all think are bad. We know how to make them really good, make them delicate. Delicate.
Oh yeah.
Delicate. What's the word is?
So again, I guess my question. I don't know if you answered it or not. But what's your plans moving forward from here on out?
So when the redistricting happened, I realized that the moves were happening, and so I have formally put my name in the hat to run for the Congressional 29, which is now everything north of 610. The district is now 32% of CVAP, which is citizen voting age population. 42% Hispanic and 17% white. The CVAP, the black CVAP, will absolutely carry the district because when we vote, we primarily vote Democratic. Okay. Just by history, I'm not saying that
we just had this conversation.
Not saying it's right, but I'd be damned if I can vote Republican though. You know what I'm saying? I'm by nature. We're all conservative. I don't care what you say. You own a business, you conservative. Because you don't want nobody to tell you how much you need to pay your employees. You don't want nobody, you don't want the government to tell you how to run. So we're all conservative. Right. And we know how to pinch pennies, right?
Yeah, we do.
And we don't want to give these pennies away just to everybody. You know, we understand a little welfare here and there is necessary, but we also know them cats that be taking advantage of the programs, and so we be like, no, I ain't finna give no.
Right.
We just had this conversation.
Wow. That whole phrase is wrong. Like you say, we really are concerned. I ain't never been liberal. That means I'm giving away money I don't have.
Right. Yeah.
So liberal, come on with a new name, and that's why I never use those phrases when I'm talking politics. I say Democrat, Republican. Don't call me liberal.
Right.
I'm not gonna call you conservative.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it has different meanings.
I mean, don't get us wrong. But we are very generous. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
We'll see somebody in need. You know, we gonna help. Like especially family, friends.
Yeah.
We know who the scammers are, man. You don't get your on down. No. But if we know some,
we do.
This is what we gonna do, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, so again,
and you know why that is?
That we ain't.
Because we've been there.
We've already been there.
We've been there. Somebody close to me been there. I believe me, I come up on the stamps, the food stamps, where you get ready to go to the register, you see somebody you hear it, go back to the back of the store, wait for them to leave, because you don't want them to know you're on food stamps.
Right.
But that's the only way we getting these groceries over here.
Right.
So when you get older, I make a little money. I remember, I forgot.
Right on.
So that don't mean I'm some scum because I don't have the money.
But that's always been in our nature, because when you look back to the days of slavery, how in the world did that many freed men and women just out of slavery were able to pool their resources to buy land?
Yes.
Or to make a bank.
Yeah, right. That is amazing.
And back then, so we understood the necessity of doing that. We've gotten away from that.
Right.
We've gotten away from pooling our resources to buy things because we got more wealth than we've ever had amongst us in this country.
Yes.
But we don't know how to pool it to make our own bank. Yeah. We don't know how to pool it to use it as leverage to hold other people accountable, to be like, look, this is what we're gonna need. We're gonna need I'm gonna put my money in this bank. Because I've always said, if you take just the top 10 churches in this city, just the top 10 churches, and say, hey, y'all come together, go to one bank, put all your money in one bank, different accounts.
Right.
Do you know how much money that is?
Oh, I know. It's a ton of money.
Yeah. But you know how much leverage that is? Because you're going to those banks, because they understand you literally putting millions upon millions in the bank weekly.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to be used,
and they're going to go in the market and make more money on your money.
True.
So of course, but if you went to them and said, "Look, this is what we're going to need. We're going to address the biggest issue that's happening in our communities. The biggest issue in our community, and we got so many of them, but we need to narrow them down and stop worrying about all." It's an ability to buy a house, which creates generational wealth in this country. That's the first thing, that how you've been able to create generational wealth is through land and real estate.
Yes.
And then the ability to be able to fund your business. Those are the two areas that we can't get funding on for nothing. We can have 780 credit score, but the bank's still gonna be like, well, we gonna need a cosign.
Right.
We gonna need you to
make you jump through some
more.
more.
You still have to put,
Put it in.
you know, buy some point. What?
Yeah. No, that's true.
I have A1 credit. I've been in this bank forever. You still trying to get me to give you? So, but if we leveraged our money and said, look, you're going to open the door and take away some of these obstacles that y'all have put in our place. Right. But that's left up to us, and that's left up to our leadership to be able to come together and create an agenda by which we can start saying, here is what we need to do.
Yeah.
Because right now, we so far all over the map, and if I ask y'all what the black agenda is, y'all gonna be like, what that is?
Yeah.
Right.
What that is.
So
we gotta have one.
So you said it's District 29, right?
District 29.
So when you win District 29, I'm just going and
claim it, brother. Claim it.
Put it out there.
Yeah.
You win District 29. What can you promise the residents in District 29 that you're gonna do?
Create an agenda for that community.
Okay.
For the entire district, and that agenda is going to be surrounding 4 areas of importance: housing, infrastructure, education, and business.
Okay.
Those are the 4 pillars of any society. If you got those 4 things, and you just think about it. You got a great infrastructure so your houses don't flood. You got a good housing stock. You have a great opportunity for your children to have to go to good schools, and then you have businesses in your community that creates jobs.
That's what I want to circle.
So the young
employment.
people, So the young people have an opportunity of having jobs, because when you are gainfully employed, you're less likely to get involved in criminal activity.
How can you go ahead?
No, I was just gonna say, because initially I did, because when you were talking about the top things, I remember growing up and getting me a little job. Tired of working with my dad because he killing us over here for $4. So I asked my mama, can I I'm going to Greenspoint. I just got to get away from daddy. You know what I'm saying? I love him, but he's killing me. Oh, I'm 60 years old.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn. Nah,
you look good to be 60. Thank you, bro.
I don't mean damn. I mean like damn.
Yeah, I ain't really mean it like that.
Your boy got upset too. He was upset.
We will let be the judge on how you meant that. But so back, Greenspoint was over.
Greenspoint was Greenspoint back then.
Yeah, it was Greenspoint was nice. Palm trees.
Turned into
Go up there
Gunspoint.
now. There's some old broke down pine trees. But back then, the palm trees out there. I went out there and got me a job, and it brought up my confidence, my spirit. Yeah. Here I am, 15 years old. Yeah. I'm working at a little restaurant, and it wasn't that I'm getting a whole lot of money. But guess what? Every time I came home, we were living in apartments over there off Guff Bay. Yeah. Every time I came home, guess what I heard? Who got jumped on today? Who got shot? Who got in a fight? Yeah. I wasn't around for none of that. Right on. My dad would walk from Aldine High School to Greenspoint. Yeah. Then my dad would pick me up that night. Right on. I didn't see all that nonsense that was going on. I'm a big advocate for they need somewhere to go work, get a little job. They ain't got to pay a whole lot, but it teaches you responsibility. Right on. I get away from Kiki them, because Kiki them fighting every night.
Yeah. So again, in regards of District 29, you win District 29. How are you going to manage District 29 based on what this legislation is doing?
All politics are local.
Okay.
And when you talk about congressional stuff and all politics are local. And this is one of the things that people need to start understanding. Being a congressman doesn't mean you show up at everybody's funeral. May she rest in peace. Sheila was a master at that. But she also, I think people got content with just seeing the representative. That ain't enough, because our community still is the same. We have to create opportunities for improvement. That improvement, again, comes through business, comes through jobs, comes through economic development, comes through better education, this is what it's about. So what's the plan is to make sure that we have a plan together. It's to bring every elected official that is within 29. Okay. So you got the state representative, you got 3 state representatives, you have 2 state senators, you have a host of city council members, school board members, so forth and so on. We sit at the table and we're going to devise a plan. what does the city council need in terms of infrastructure? Because again, there's so many issues that are in our community, but I'm only going to address the basic foundation. You got to build a foundation first. Once we build a foundation, then we can build on top of that. We can build a structure on top of it. But right now, we have to build a foundation. We have to, settle the ship. And if you bring everybody to city council, what do we need to build better infrastructure in our community? Because our communities always get the infrastructure last. Mm-hmm. Like you've been in Acres Homes, y'all are familiar. You drive through. Yeah, he's from Acres. You drive through, and it's like this is where we're very prideful. Like we love our community, but now all of a sudden you're seeing all of these condos and townhomes popping up.
So why is that so legal to have all these houses pop up?
Well, because this is Houston. We have a free. They're very lenient, and there's no zoning in Houston. Yeah, and so you can build wherever you want to build. And I think that's what has made Houston unique versus a lot of other cities. So you can build wherever you want and
build what you want.
And build what you want to a certain standard. Mm-hmm. But the point, again, that I'm making is once we look at, as I was saying, Acres Homes has always been Acres Homes, but now all of a sudden you got these condos coming up, and now you got better lighting, you got new roads coming in. Right. I'm like, wait.
Where was all that?
Like, why? See, the thing is, and this is why I've always said, you don't have to move out to move up. But people always think, I got to go do better, so I'm going to leave Acres Homes. And I'm going to go move someplace else. I'm going to move out to the lands. I'm going to move to Sugarland, Woodland, Pearland. But we got to figure that out. You ain't got to move. We got plenty of land here. Build right here. Build within. So again, it's all about creating a plan. Infrastructure. What do we need for infrastructure? Then we go into how do we create the movement for housing? And then from there, businesses follow rooftops.
They do.
You're a business owner.
Yeah.
You ain't going to go build your very expensive restaurant, with a $100 plate.
No, true.
In the middle of the hood because they don't have that dispensable income. Right?
Right.
So, but if you're building communities around it, then businesses follow rooftops. So we want to make sure that we have a good mix of housing. You don't want to concentrate poverty, which is what they tried to do for a long time, which I was adamantly against. You don't concentrate poverty in one neighborhood, because if you concentrate poverty, then the only thing you're going to get is liquor stores and Family Dollars.
Yeah,
right?
Which is true. Mm-hmm.
So what I've always been an advocate of is we can build, stair step. Like you build where you have 60% of the population who lives there can continue to buy houses there, but then you got to have that middle class, and then you got to have that upper middle class, because these two up here are driving the businesses that then bring in the jobs that then afford our kids to go to work.
Yeah,
I never seen.
Go ahead. Then the tax base helps the schools, and now our schools are getting better. So again, it all goes into a plan. It's not too complex, but at the end of the day, we have to have a plan. I'm sick and tired of us just getting what falls off the tree or what's left over. A closed mouth never gets fed. And so at the end of the day, I am going to Congress to have a specific ask for this is what our community needs. I'm not going to just let them say, okay, well, whatever is left over is what y'all get. But we have to be strategic in how we get things done.
So when you ask for something, like, say if you ask for millions of dollars, right?
Billions.
If you ask for billions of dollars, how would you use that billions of dollars towards the good?
Again, it doesn't come directly to me what I'm doing is advocating and then earmarking money that goes to the city of Houston. And when that money goes to the city of Houston, I've already talked to my city council members that fall within District 29 that they're going to be looking for, here is where the money is coming. You need to be finding it and making sure that it still goes to our plan.
Yeah.
Because this is how we were able to get this additional dollars. And the same thing with the state, the same thing with, with our economic community.
Loans for people that, would you create loans off the billions of dollars for people who want to build an Acres Home or anywhere else?
I think that goes through economic development, but there's always, you got to have grants available for that. You got to have incentives for that. You want to make sure that we incentivize those, but we got to have our people together that are ready to build, not just, say, dog, I got this great idea, and say, man, I'm gonna tell you, dog, we able to do this. It's going, say, Okay, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking. This goes back to my original when I was talking about the churches. This is where the churches come in because the plan is to bring the churches together. Our biggest bank is the church.
So why? But our churches are not. Go to churches. They go to churches all the time and politics can church, but you never see them in church no more.
Is that the only place where you can talk to the largest concentration of intellectual black folks at one time? Shit, you ain't gonna talk to them at y'all show. Right. There ain't nobody trying. None of your audience want to hear me if I come and talk about politics. They come to laugh and they in there drinking and and so there ain't nobody trying to listen to me. You ain't gonna listen to me in the club. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And if I walk up to you on the street corner, I
always wanted to know that because y'all always go to the churches, the big churches, small churches, but you never see.
Well, he had a point what he just said. I never thought of that.
I never thought of that either. But
so I guess my question is, when you roll out your plan, is there and Congress says no, they're not going to do this? Do you have a plan B?
You always got to have a plan B.
Yeah. So I'm saying, what is it? What's the plan B?
The plan B is to organize, baby. Mm-hmm. And this is where the plan B is to make sure that the Democratic Party understands. The soul of the Democratic Party is the black community.
True.
And the problem is that y'all have ignored our needs all these years. And if you want to keep getting elected and if you want to come into power, then you better come way of us and understand. Talk to me. Talk to the issues. The reason why Kamala Harris lost was because, and I'm not blaming black folk because it is legitimate why they did not vote. Nobody is talking to black men and talking about the issues that are relevant to them.
True.
The Democratic Party talks about immigration. They talk about LGBT. They talk about women's reproductive rights, abortions. And that's it. Transgender kids.
Yeah.
Okay. So because when you graduated, you said Aldine?
Yeah, Aldine.
Well, you ain't graduate. You ain't graduate.
Yeah, he graduated.
Springwood. I graduated Springwood.
You went to CLC. Tell the truth, though, DeezNutz.
I went to school at night. Barbara Jordan.
And the school was closed.
But when you graduated or every year you got your yearbook. You got a yearbook every year.
Yeah.
What's the first thing you look for?
Your picture.
My picture.
Your picture. See, black folk don't see themselves in the picture when it comes to the Democratic Party. And so therefore, when you didn't see yourself in the book, you was kind of like, that's my school. I see, okay, cool. But you ain't really as interested. And this is how black folk feel about the Democratic Party. We see it, we go, man, I'm still here for you, man. I know it's important for me to vote, but
they take our vote for granted.
Boom.
They take it for granted. We got that. Let's focus on this here.
Right.
Let's focus on it because we going to get them no matter what.
And so the plan is to make sure that the Democratic Party understands our value.
Okay.
And if you don't understand, and my thing is always say, if you ain't going to respect me, then you're going to expect me. So know that if you ain't going to take care of me, absolutely, I can't take care of you. No. You trying to say you're going to go over to the Republicans? Hell no. Because they're getting too involved into that culture war stuff.
True.
And I'm not one to tell a woman what she can do with her body.
True.
I'm not one to tell you who to love and how. I ain't got nothing to do with that.
Yeah.
Did you see that thing they had with Charlie Kirk? I'm sorry to have a curve on you. Y'all saw that Charlie Kirk thing?
Yeah,
who haven't?
Who hasn't seen that?
But did y'all go see the backstory?
No.
On the Charlie Kirk when you go look at Grindr and
I haven't seen it.
No, I haven't seen it.
Man, they said Grindr blew up, and there's another app, for the little gay looking for men app. Men looking for men. I forgot the name of it. That was funny.
No, I haven't seen that.
I haven't seen
it. It was like on fire. Just go look it up. Go look it up. Man, it always crashes. At the Republican National Convention, it always crashes because they're always out there. So they say they believe in one thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
but then behind closed.
Yeah, something
that go back to what we were talking about the hypocrisy of that party. They don't even try to hide it no more. That's what's crazy about it. They used to try to hide a little bit. Yeah. It's right out front. Yeah.
They still hiding that part, but their racism they ain't hiding no more.
They ain't hiding.
They ain't hiding that at all.
They ain't hiding that at all.
So what you think about these police that just whooping on everybody, man. How you feel about
What
that?
you mean?
But that's been going on for.
What you talking
They
about?
ain't changing.
What you talking about?
But still, man, how can you change that though?
Well, there's a lot of ways that we can change it. Number one, this is where, again, when we create an agenda that we are making absolute certain that we are not going to let go of. Mm-hmm. Because, again, that's one of those issues that our community faces more than anybody, that we have to make the Democratic Party work harder and bring it to the forefront. And we got to get rid of qualified immunity. And qualified immunity just simply means that a cop can shoot you and they're protected. You know, we have to put it in place where we understand that if a cop shoots somebody and is found guilty, then, hey, man, that's on that cop. And we're going after that cop's pension. You know, you've taken, somebody's life. You shouldn't be able to
still live your life.
Have your family still live their life and all that other stuff. No. We have to make sure that they're carrying insurance. Because they're carrying a deadly weapon. So there are things that we need to do, but again, it's truly about making sure that collectively we have a plan that we're all going to work on together. You can't work on it by yourself.
No.
Trying to get it done. You can't work. Y'all got to work in concert to get anything done. And this is where we have failed as a party, is that we don't work in concert. We're always playing defense. When the Republicans do something stupid, we're playing defense versus, hey,
being on the offense.
We're going to all be together on this one. One of the case in points, Al Green, during the State of the Union early this year, stood up and said something, and they kicked him out the chamber.
Yeah.
Now, we watched as some of the other Republicans have done this and yelled and screamed and, and have said something. Right.
Little bubbles.
And never was escorted out the chamber. Now, here it is, Al Green, Democrat black man, stands up and they escort him out the chamber. That's one of those situations where it would have been like, hoo-doo, let's roll, everybody, let's go. You kick one of you kick one of us out, you got to kick us all out. What was that from a Good Time? United we stand, divided we fall. Don't do the
two sides of small.
I knew you was gonna do that. I was like, don't do the rest of it.
So I guess the question is, why didn't the other Democrats react to that?
I think again, this is a culture that we have built. And I think we're in a new culture now where it's all about clickbait and it's all about using an opportunity to get more views or get more likes as opposed to collectively working together. Everybody has to have their own brand. Everybody has to have their own credit. And I'm not knocking or blaming Democrats for any of that, but I think we don't have leadership or we don't have a mindset to say, look, I don't give a damn who gets credit as long as the work gets done, because that's how I am. I don't care who gets credit for this. I work my butt off. For Texas Southern University because Texas Southern always gets the short end of the stick when it comes to funding. And I was on appropriations. I was on appropriation and I worked my butt off. And I was able to get Texas Southern its largest appropriation in the history of Texas Southern.
Wow.
And at the end of the day, at the end of the session, boy, every other state rep was like, look at what I did for Texas Southern.
Right.
Like, and I'm like, cool. Cool. The work got done. Yeah. The end result was Texas Southern got its money.
But I got a question about this because it just happened this morning. I know y'all heard about Mackenzie Scott, right? What she did this morning. Well, I just saw it on the news this morning that she just gave 70 million to HBCUs. It just happened this morning. And if I'm not mistaken, that's what's the name, ex-wife. The boy from
Bezos.
Bezos. She's done it before. Every time I see something like that, first question pop in my mind is, how does that money get divided with the schools? Because I always go back and think about when Dion started out at Jackson State. Right. Remember, he started over there at Jackson State, going to do the coach, and they were skimming money off the top with him. The leaders at that school and everyone was, he just used them as a stepping stone to get to Colorado. Hey, factually, they were skimming money from him. And he said, I thought we did this here. So once again, like with any company, how do you prevent someone just gave HBCU $70 million, but it didn't really go to the school because the president took him a couple million.
I look at it I look at it a lot different, and there's obviously somebody like Dion saying that, but Dion has been accustomed to getting what Dion wants all the time, and Dion has always been accustomed to getting his first, right? You're working within a university. It's just not that easy. I can't just take the door. You know what I'm saying? It's like you at your show. You get the door. You know what I'm saying? They got to go and square up first. They got to take care of a whole bunch of other things, and then they come back to that. So I'm not here to say whether or not somebody was scamming or scheming or not.
Right.
I think Dion was wrong for airing it like that, because we got to stop believing that somebody's always on the take. This country has always been on the take. You know what I'm saying? Like this is the most corrupt country in the world. But when you think about Africa, everybody want to say, man, they scamming and scheming over there.
Right.
At the end of the day, it's not black and white. It's just the same way with your business, man. When you have people that work for you, when you get the bread, they want their check right away.
They do.
You're like, look.
Yeah.
I understand, you got to go through the process. Here's the check. Then, you go to the bank. I want cash. Like, I can't pay you cash.
Yeah.
If I'm paying you cash, the government going to come get me. So it's just not that easy. When you talk about Bezos, even when you talk about Bezos, I don't know how she has divvied up the money. I do know she gave Prairie View, because her and Dr. Ruth Simmons were very close friends.
Okay.
And so she gave Prairie View its largest donation ever, in $50 million.
Right.
Well,
I remember that.
Prairie View falls under Texas A&M.
Yeah.
And so Texas A&M was like, tell her to give the money to us, and then we'll give it to her. And Dr. Ruth, to her credit, was like, no. And she, and so of course, what's her name?
Scott.
Yeah, Mackenzie Scott. When she's like, no, it ain't gonna happen that way. I'm giving it directly to But again, at the end of the day, A&M, you could have gave it directly to A&M. I mean, to Prairie View. A&M was gonna come get it anyway.
Right.
So again, politics is not that easy, and obviously business is not that easy. There's a lot of layers to this. I'm one who always gonna make sure that our people are going to be kept in the right light.
Yeah.
And I don't want, because I believe, and this is the problem with us as black men, us as a race, I believe our number one problem. I'm gonna let you take a guess what I'm gonna say. No. What's the black folks' number one problem?
I know what you're gonna say.
What?
Us?
No. Imagery is the number one problem.
Okay,
when it comes to us.
Okay. I like that.
Because imagery tells them who we are, who they think we are. Because when you don't live around me,
right,
the only knowledge you have of me is what you see on TV.
Right.
And what's on TV never paints a picture of us as being positive. I grew up in an era where there wasn't no black shows that had a whole family. We had good times, but then they killed James. Right. But he was still poor.
Right.
And so I grew up middle class, dog. I ain't gonna sit up here and tell you I ain't grew up middle class. Right. My daddy worked at NASA and he was an artist. My mother was an entrepreneur. She worked for a congressman. At the end of the day, I kind of grew up a little middle class. Yeah. But watch this.
You know why they killed James?
Yeah.
Because the real John Amos didn't want to play, because they kept all these...
Every time.
Could never come up. Stereotypical stuff. He said, I don't want to say that. I don't do that because it's a bad image. Shit. It's a bad image for her. They said, you know what? Negro, we're going to write you out.
Right.
And James got killed in an accident in Mississippi.
Right.
Driving the car. Because he was fighting for them not to dynamite and all this stupid stuff every 5 seconds. That's why they get to change the image. Let's keep them thinking the way it is.
Imagery has always been our problem. When they came up with the Cosby Show, what did we say about what did even we say about the Cosby Show?
Ain't no black folk living like that.
Yeah. We even said that ain't
because we've been trained.
And I'm sitting here going, that's bull. Hey man, my neighbor over here, the Levi's, he was a lawyer,
right,
and she was the head nurse at the hospital. On this side, he was an accountant. And she was a principal. Across the street, he worked in the shipyards, and she was an accountant. So I'm like, I've seen this.
Yeah, you see
This is real to me. I just couldn't. So again, imagery has always been a problem. So that's why we are always deemed the most dangerous people. So that's why they fear us, even when we're not the ones doing mass shooting. We're the one. So they always going to keep talking about.
Us, though,
they're going to talk about Chicago. They're going to talk about Detroit. They're going to talk about
Just pick any
all
hood.
of these hoods. But at the end of the day, they're going to talk about black men. Fatherless.
They blamed us for that.
Fatherless.
For that shit.
Like,
they talking about going to the black colleges.
Right.
They found out the white dude, everything went.
Exactly. They're going to
quiet.
always do that. So again, I believe imagery, and this is why I always say, is our responsibility to keep our best foot forward. I know it's funny to talk about our trauma sometimes. When you talk about, man, them food stamps, or when you talk about that sugar water or them syrup sandwiches growing up, I get that.
A yellow can.
I get that. And we can talk about that. That was our reality for most of us, for a lot of us. But at the end of the day, we also have to remind people of the greatness and the wonderfulness and the success that we had, because nobody talks about this country wouldn't be this country without us. And I'm talking about after slavery. I'm talking about the contributions that we've made to this country in terms of inventions, in terms of creativity, and
this world. This world, forget this country.
And this is why Donald Trump and the Republicans are changing history, because they do not want people to see us in the right light. And that's why the only thing that I've ever agreed with Kanye West on was when that fool said they profiting off of our trauma. And I was like, ooh, you told, so you, hey boy, you spoke. Yeah. Because this is how America and the movie industry has profited off of our trauma. Hey man, bless his heart. I don't want to get y'all in trouble because y'all know y'all probably had, but I'm sick of Tyler Perry movies, man. I'm sick of this, man. I'm sick of it, dog.
Yeah, man.
I'm sick because it's the same thing.
Why we get in trouble? We already know how it's gonna end.
I'm just saying, I know. I mean, y'all are in the business. Y'all in the business. I don't want to step on no toes.
Tyler Perry movies end the same way.
But
somebody died, and I'm gonna beat the other lady, and we're gonna be together.
It start the same way. It's always trauma. It's always trauma. And everybody who is successful is successful through drugs, or they successful through scamming. Or I'm like, come on. We have so much more depth to us. Why aren't we not making movies about?
Well, I think the thing of it is
the movies are not the reason why I could say they ain't gonna make no movie like that, because it's not gonna get the ratings it need. You gonna get more ratings of somebody shooting somebody on TV and selling drugs. Look at Ghost. Look how much money he made off that movie. The whole movie was about killing and drugs. Everybody watched it, and somebody's little son cussing out their daddy. Come on, man.
Power, all that.
Because we've been conditioned, because we have allowed. That's what
name of his power.
I
said Ghost, but
I tried.
I grew up. I grew up with rap, right? I grew up when rap first hit the scene.
Yeah.
So I'm Boogie Down Productions. I'm Public Enemy.
You want to get paid?
I'm all of that. I'm all of that positive stuff, right? I'm Dead Prayers. This is what then all of a sudden you start seeing the change, the transition, and it started getting into the gangster, and started getting into the West Coast, East, it started getting into the beef. Man, when LL and Kool Moe Dee was having beef, man, it was cool beef, man. Wasn't nobody gonna die.
No. Right. I think the mentality now is different, especially when you talk about the East Coast and the West Coast.
No rapper can rap just like I can.
Yeah, I just think it's different like now. I think it all started back in the days when Tupac and Biggie, that's when it really kicked off to me. I remember. And you may before that, but I remember when Kool Moe Dee and them had the thing, and it was more of it was just talk. Now, as in the day, you got to be scared. You got to have all these security guards. You don't know what's going to happen with you. And I think it all changed when Tupac and Biggie had their thing going on. And after that, it just escalated. People today still have feelings on the East Coast and the West Coast and what it meant back. And I think it's more of a thing that the East Coast is trying to establish itself as the best. The West Coast is trying to establish itself as the best. I just think it's those two regions are that. We don't have that from the South. you have beef from the South, but you don't have beef like they have it over there.
Yeah.
And somebody's gonna get killed, possibly get killed.
Right on. But I say again, I think imagery is why we are here where we are. And I think
so
if we start to slowly but surely change it to where I think there's enough for everybody, because there isn't, it's just like we watched it growing up, but it's like we ain't finna let our babies watch it. We don't want them around that, because we are doing better, so we want them to have better. So I think once we can change a little bit of this, and it could be more of a balance, but it get to the point where I just want to see some good old black love. You know what I'm saying? I want to see Love Jones. You know what I'm saying? I want to see.
That. Oh man,
you know what I'm saying?
That movie, that was awesome.
I just want to see more shows that
basketball.
That I want to see where we can come together without tearing each other apart. That I just want to see a good, resilient story of. I don't want to see we gotta be crackheads and
So with what you saying all that, how are you going to, or will you implement that in the district that you're in? Are you gonna be able to showcase that to the people that you represent?
In any platform that I get on, these are the things that I talk about. Because I think if more people start to understand, and if we start to repeat, imagery is important. Because this is what we have to teach. Anybody got sons?
Yeah,
3.
we all do. I got 2 sons. 3.
So you had to teach. Unfortunately, you had to teach like I had to teach our sons on how to act around cops, on how to act around people of authority who have the authority to do some things too. So imagery is important. Hey man, when you hanging out with your friends, okay, but you ain't finna come around me with your pants hanging off your butt. You ain't finna, you ain't finna just be whatever. That's because everybody here businessmen. Everybody here understands. What you bring to the table and what you show is how people gonna respond to you. And I know a lot of people are like, well, people just should respect. True.
Yeah.
But also people ain't gotta respect you, because at the end of the day, you're not fitting. Don't be mad because you didn't get the job.
Yeah, true.
Don't be mad because you didn't get the
Well, watch this. I'm gonna play devil's advocate against us for a quick second, but it's just factual.
Right.
I never forget this. This stands out of my mind. I'm sitting down at a Subway. I'm gonna have me some lunch right quick, right? I see a young kid come in. He got a do-rag. He's sagging the whole 9. And he went up to the desk, and his lady said, "Yeah, how can I help you?" He said, "I'm here for my interview." I dropped my sandwich. I'm like,
you should have said, "Ma'am, don't worry about it. Excuse me, sir. Come here, boy. Go home, man. Don't even worry about it, man. I don't want you to waste your time."
He come in and said, "I'm here for my interview," and the lady she was like, "Oh, well, the manager don't get here too." And I should have did what you said, nigga. Take your ass home, change clothes, get this do-rag off, and come back. But you can't talk to these youngsters now because he's about 15, 16 years old. You can't talk to them because they be ready to put something on you.
No, that's not. We're going to fight. I'm about to fight you.
No.
Here's why I'm saying.
Because I had him do it to me before. I had him do it to me before.
I got you. But
I had him do it. No. This ain't something I'm talking about.
I understand that.
I had him tell me, talk crazy to me. I'm trying to just tell you something to help you.
Right. I just say, I'm not going to disagree, but I think when we grew up, remember when we grew up, we be in the streets.
Yeah.
Miss Laura would be like, "Get your butt up. I'm telling your mom."
Yeah.
And we'd be like, yes. Or even when somebody drove down the block, we probably didn't know them. They'd be like, "Hey boy, I know your mama." Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
So today we don't do that because now we already see again imagery of television told us these are bad. These are still our kids. I run a youth center.
Yeah.
And in the middle of 5th Ward, Frenchtown, Liberty Road, in the midst of all of that, all the drugs, prostitution going on. And I remember I was 22 years old. I get out there, "Man, get your ass off the street." And they'd be like, "Man, we going back and forth, right?" I'm full of that testosterone. I'm 22.
Yeah.
I'm running my own youth center. As you get older, you say, "Brother, can I talk to you for a minute?"
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I got these kids over here. I'm trying to do good work. Whoop, 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 shooty, shoot. At the end of the day, hey man, I respect that. All right. So we come to an agreement. I'm not telling them to stop doing this. I'm asking them just to stop
doing it at that moment.
At that time when my kids are here. I know you're going to sell your dope, dog.
Right.
So again, I think the more we see kids, if you walk by the kid and be like, hey, how you doing? Without judging them first, you build that rapport. And now about the fifth time you see him, be like, hey, man, you know, I see you all the time. Well, you're a good-looking dude. Can I offer you a little bit of advice?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? But I hear what you're saying. It happens.
Because watch this true story. I lived with Mayor for over 30 years, right? And I walk, you know, you park the car, you walk out.
I see why you angry.
Yeah. I'm telling you. They don't respect the mailman.
He's just retired.
I'm walking back to my mail truck. It is hot, so I left the windows down a little bit. It's too hot to keep coming back there to a hot truck. So I leave the windows down. I walk out the street to come back. Little one of them little boys at the door, like around 10, 11, 12, right up in there, going through my mail. I said, hey, boy, get out that truck. Get out that truck. I tell my daddy to whoop your ass. Well, he might be telling the truth.
Yeah.
Let me go and get in the truck and move to the next street.
Right.
I ain't got time for nothing here.
Right.
Say the world stuff.
Right.
I got to go on about my business.
Right. Yeah.
Because if he talking crazy,
right.
I'm pretty sure Daddy crazy.
Yeah.
Daddy probably crazy too.
Yeah.
So I'm not finna find out.
Yeah.
I feel you.
You should have found out.
What post office you worked at, man?
Back then I was at
the mail.
I did that for 7 years. Yeah.
You know my Uncle John Glenn? He worked.
I remember that name. Yeah, he was a big shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't walking the street like me.
No.
Yeah, he up there big shot doing union type stuff.
Yeah.
He postmaster. Oh yeah.
Nah, he wasn't no postmaster.
No.
He postmaster in his head.
Watch this here. I'm gonna tell you a funny story. This true story. Acres Home. This is when you go in the bottom by Marjorie and all over the street. I'm in my mail truck. I get ready to go, take a right turn, come down there, deliver the mail. Driving on that, guy said, "Hey man, mailman, ain't no deliveries here today." I said, "What you talking about?" He said, "Hey man, I said ain't no deliveries here today." Then I looked down, I realized what's going on.
Right.
It's a deal going on. Boom. I turned my call around, went on back. Do you know I went back to the post office? They said, "Why you bring all this mail back?" I said, "I told what happened." I said, "Hey man, drug dealer say no." He said, "Okay, we'll put the mail back. We'll take it out there tomorrow."
There you go.
We ain't gonna go out there and fight them over, man.
Hey, just tell about the story about the dude on the porch.
Oh, man, let's get into a whole other thing.
Come on, man. I got to hear it, man. Come on, man.
This back in the day,
getting hired. About he want to get hired.
I'm working in film, but this bad for imagery, but we're going to talk about it. It's bad for imagery, but it's true. I'm working Fifth Ward.
It's just us watch. We good.
Yeah. I'm in Jensen, right? I'm working Jensen State. It's time. So I'm walking down the street. You got to walk up to the door over there. Walk up to the door. Brother sitting on the front porch. Sit there. Man, let me holler this right quick. I said, yeah, what's up? Hey, man, they hiring down there? They down there hiring? I said, so I decided to go talk to them. I said, you know what, man? We are hiring. But you know, man, they're gonna you gotta they got a couple things they're gonna have to, they got a felony thing, you got no felony. Yeah, I ain't worried about that. I smoke a little weed, I take some Gold Seal and cranberry juice, flush all this out. I ain't worried about all that.
You take that echinacea.
I said, yeah, but what about the felony? See, now, nigga, you getting too much in my business. This ain't a joke, this happened.
You getting too much in my business.
I said, you know what, you right. Can I go finish the little
Here you go, sir. Here are all your past due bills.
What about my business?
I used to go to Jensen, man. When my youth service, you was there. So I used to go over there. Y'all used to do the combined the combined federal campaign, do a little payroll deduction, help the organizations out.
How's Aunt B's going? I used to go to that was your folks, right?
No, that was me.
That was you. Yeah. Okay, I kept thinking it was.
Everybody, because my mama was the face. So.
Right. I used to go there every back in the day when I lived on North Side. Mm-hmm. After we finished clubbing, we going to Aunt B's.
Right on.
We going to Aunt
B's was a restaurant?
Yeah, restaurant right there in the parking lot. What's that, Tidwell?
Tidwell and 45.
Yeah, Tidwell 45.
Hold on, Tidwell and 45.
Used to be right in that big parking lot right there to the right. Little strip center.
Yeah, right across from the hospital? No, that's Parker Road.
Yeah. No, you come down. No, you talking about, you on Park.
Yeah.
It's right on the corner, 45 and Tidwell.
So is it still there?
No. In 2016, in 15, it caught on fire.
Yeah, I remember they caught on fire.
Yeah.
And then right after that, I was running for state rep and just never had time to get it back. And then once I got settled and was ready to bring it back, man.
You could get some home cooking late at night. Yeah. That's why we liked it.
The cost of doing business is skyrocketed, and I was like, my customers that are used to a $9 plate, now going to almost $17 a plate, man. And my biggest problem is just the staff, man. Food was great. It's just staff, man. Just trying to keep people in, and you chasing cooks everywhere you can because they're gonna go somewhere for 15 cents more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So it was in the plaza right across from.
Man, you say you went to Booker T, man.
Yeah, I did. But
man,
I'm trying to think about.
Come on, man. It was in the parking lot. It was like a strip center.
45, 45 Tidwell. You know where Ponchos is?
Ponchos.
Right next door to Ponchos.
Exactly, right next door to Ponchos.
There's a beauty supply over there now.
So
beauty supply was on the other side of Ponchos.
So I guess my question is,
okay,
what can we do to help you in District 29?
Number one, this is going to be different. So here's how this thing is going to be changed, and it's going to be confusing, and this is by design. Currently, and this is why I brought this map. So I don't know if your audience can see, but
they can see it.
So this is the new 29, right? Mm-hmm. So this is 610, this is 59, this is 45, this is 290. So this is the new. So this is what the new district is, right? Okay. Currently, over here where we are in Acres Homes, Independent Heights, it's still the 18th. Okay,
that's the one that Al Green has.
That was the one Sylvester Turner had.
Okay, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Al Green was District 9.
District 9.
So what's happening is there's a special election taking place in November for the remaining term that Sylvester had to leave when he died. So the people that are running for the 18th in November are running for the special election, which would put them in office from January of 26 to December of 26. But in the meantime, in March of 26 is when all the other lines change.
Okay.
So then where we are in Acres Homes now is the 29th. So you'll have people voting in November for the 18th. And then if there's a runoff, they'll vote in January for the runoff. But then when they come back in March, they're coming back to vote in the 29th.
In a different district?
In a different district. And so it's very confusing to people.
Yeah.
Right?
It sounds confusing. You just told me.
Right. It's very confusing. So one of the things that knowledge is power. We have to continue to get this information out to the people to help them understand. Because when people are confused, they'll just throw their hands up and say, no, I ain't going, I don't know what I don't want. Because what the Republicans have done is they've put so much fear into people that if I vote in the wrong place, if I don't do this right, I potentially can be arrested. Right? And so you got a lot of, and so they be like, wait, I thought I was voting in the 18th. Why am I voting in the 29th? My voter registration card says 18. And so when they bring that voter registration card, it's going to say 18. Because they're not going to get a new voter registration card before then.
So do they need to go to the 18th? To vote?
No. See, again, if November, see, again, they're still, if you, in November, right now, this area right here, Acres Homes, or wherever you are, you're still in the 18th.
Okay.
In November.
Okay.
You're in the 18th until January. And then in March, when you go back to vote in the midterms, you will now be in
29th.
But it's not going to change on your car.
It's not going to change on your car, and you don't have to go get a new car.
All that green is going to be 29.
Right. But your precinct stays the same.
So I guess
who gave the authority to change that?
The governor. Yeah. The governor and Donald Trump.
So I guess my question is, what is the Democrats doing to educate the public about it? Because I don't see the news talking about it. I don't see anybody talking about this. So how do the people in those districts know what's going on? How do we know what's going on?
It's going to have to be people like yourself, brother. And you're doing that. You had Ron on. You had me on. Yeah. You know, you're going to have Amanda on. You got it. But you guys got to educate yourself because you have such a very important platform. You have such an important job. Your job is just as important as the elected official's job, because you, and let me just tell people this. I tell people this all the time. The power does not lie with the elected official. Mm-hmm. The elected official just gets the attention.
Right.
The power lies with
the people like us.
People with the king maker. See, you the king maker. Y'all the king maker, because the more you give people a platform and an opportunity so that other people hear what they say, now you become the king maker. Yeah. And now people got to come see you. Mm-hmm. They're like, hey, you know, you man, you know how many people saw that podcast? And because of that podcast, Donald Trump hated TikTok. Oh yeah. But then all of a sudden, they told Donald Trump, get on TikTok so that the young people can see you. And now Donald Trump, he loved TikTok. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But he loved it so much that now he want to control it. Yeah. I don't want to get off the subject, but he want to control it. But he wants to control it as a dictator would control. Right. Dictators control media. Yeah. This is what Hitler did when he took Germany from a democracy to a dictatorship. He controlled the media. That's why Donald Trump wants TikTok. Yeah.
Not to put out his own propaganda.
Not because, they're collecting data. Man, Facebook, they collecting data forever. Yeah. Man, you can't even talk on your phone talking about, hey, man, I'm going to go get them new Jordans. And all of a sudden you go to Facebook
and then see the Jordan.
And Jordan advertisement coming up. I'm like, what? Yeah. So they're controlling propaganda. Now watch Jordan come up on your thing. But they're controlling propaganda. Okay. And then they control the media. He canceled Jimmy Kimmel. Mm-hmm. Because the FCC director said, I think you should. Yeah. And so they're going to control who says what about him. So again, you guys more than ever will become more and more important.
So of course, and the thing is, you don't want to. Why he's back on now, because of the people.
That's right. Because the people said they lost $8 billion.
You don't want to. We want to exactly what he's saying, but don't just say it and stop, because politics, you got to. The more we ramp it up, the closer it gets to election time. Because a lot of people don't even listen until that 3-month period. Once it get close, it's like Christmas.
Yeah, early election is next month.
Yeah,
early voting is next month. Mm-hmm. Early voting is next month.
Next week.
Yeah, next week. Yeah. So it starts next week, and then the final is in November, right?
November 4th. Yeah, but then there may be.
Yeah, but I'm talking about for next year.
Runoff. Yeah. And that runoff is going to be somewhere in January.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what I'm talking about. For the March election, it's going to be, because that's when everything's going to change. So you want to really start ramping up in January, letting people know, hey, this is what's going on. This is how you're trying to train. It stays on your mind more clearer when you bombard some people with it right at that time. But Trump don't wait too late, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but that's trying to stay in the office forever.
That's how, of course it is.
So I guess the thing of it is this: when we talk about Al Green. So from what I understood, Al Green is retiring, and I'm here he's retiring because of these changes that's going on. So he's not retiring?
That's not what I heard. Huh. Don't have me talk. Yeah, I'm not speaking for Al.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna have me.
Yeah, I didn't reach out.
Jarvis said it. No. I've heard that, because when you look at so this is the new 18th. This district right here. You see how this district looks? Yeah. Mm-hmm. This is the old 9th. Okay. Exactly like this. This is what the old 9th used to look like. Yeah. It made some different little changes, but this is the exact makeup of the old 9th. And then what they did was they then took South Park, 3rd Ward, 5th Ward, and Northeast Houston and just combined that into the 18th. Okay. And so they just took these areas right here and threw them into the old 9th and just made it the 18th.
Well, they're cutting back on employment too, don't they?
What you mean?
Yeah. By joining all of them together.
Oh, no. That's just voting.
That's just voting.
They're just controlling. They're controlling.
Controlling stuff is like.
So what they did was, when you look at this district, see this District 9 over here?
Yeah. If you lay it on the table.
The 9, you can see it better. Yeah. So when you look at District 9, so 9 used to be Al Green's number. Okay. But let's not get confused with the number. Yeah. So this district over here used to be 29. 29. This is where Sylvia Garcia had her base. This is the person who was the congressperson for the 29th.
29th, okay.
But they took away her base and they made it into 9. and they made it more Republican. So when you look at this is now a Republican seat. Because you see how these districts are all cut up?
Cut up, yeah.
This is where they're going and getting votes. Because they know that community over there are going to vote
Democrats.
this way, that way. They'll go in here and go like, okay, well, all, because we still live in a segregated society.
Right, exactly.
Right? This is where black folk live.
Yeah.
This is where, this is
if
a
you go to
community
Richmond, it's all Indian people.
Right. And Southwest Houston, you'll find there's a large majority of Nigerians.
Oh, it's a blend over there. Everything you want is off of what's the Bel Air? Anything you want. Asians.
Asians on the other side, though. They even changed the name.
They changed the name. But we are still a very segregated society. So this is why they go in. You can see how the lines are cut up.
Cut up, yeah. I see that.
And so, because if you really wanted true democracy, right? Like, you just draw, straight lines. Like, look.
Let it be as it is.
This is what it is.
Exactly.
Let the best man win. But
so I guess the thing of it is with Trump picking up 5 extra seats in the state of Texas, and now you have California doing what they doing. Do you think California's going to be successful at getting to the point where they redraw their lines?
I mean, obviously, I hope so. And I applaud the Texas Democrats for doing what they did. I led the charge to do a walkout in 2021 because to protect our voting rights.
Yeah.
And we walked out at that time, and it garnered national attention. This walkout garnered national attention, and it brought the attention to make California start to stand up and do, more.
Fight back.
Yeah, fight back in the same way. So again, look, we're at a point where it's going to be them, it's going to be us. It's going to be them, it's going to be us. If they do it, we got to do it. It's going to keep going on and on. It's not going to stop. I think we're in real dangerous times because Republicans don't want to acknowledge fault. Regardless of what Trump does, regardless of what he says. Everybody loves being an American. They love saying, I'm American, I'm a patriot, I believe in the Constitution, I believe in First Amendment rights, I believe in this, I believe in that. They love saying that until you say something against them, and now, they always want to talk about they want to protect, freedom of speech. Well, if you protect the freedom of speech, then why you kick Jimmy Kimmel off the air? If you protect freedom of speech, then why you want to try to control what people are saying? Who gets to come in the White House press room if you want freedom of speech? But now here you are, you want to talk about Charlie Kirk, freedom of speech. Nobody stopped Charlie Kirk's freedom of speech.
No.
Charlie Kirk's hateful speech.
Got him.
Stop. Charlie Kirk. And then it was one of your own who did it. You so busy trying to blame
the left,
Democratic rhetoric. Like, no, Democratic rhetoric done got nothing to do with that.
Right.
How in the world? That's like two brothers get into a fight and the mama come outside and go to the next door neighbor and be like, you made my sons fight. I'm like, lady, I was in here watching the Cosby Show. Yeah. What you talking about?
Yeah.
I ain't got nothing to do all of them. Because you are, every time you see my sons, you got something to say. Like, ma'am, I don't talk. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
this is what the Republicans are doing. They want to blame everybody for their fault as opposed to just look. And if you say something against I just told you, you say something against Donald Trump, and I'd say, man, that is not your daddy. Like, if you say something against Donald Trump, all of a sudden everybody, they want to get all huffy and puffy. Like, dude, he's not perfect.
Yeah.
Right.
Y'all make out like y'all perfect. Y'all are not perfect. No party is perfect. Admit fault, and let's move on. Let's change. Let's fix. But this is why this country is so divided that they're even willing. The Republican Party is even willing to continue to give Donald Trump more and more and more power to the point where the Supreme Court, which is supposed to be a nonpartisan body and independent,
unbiased,
can do just only the law. They cannot be impeached. Yeah. They cannot be fired. Nobody can, like, you got the job. But they've even moved so far to the right where, again, in what world do we say you can pull somebody over based on the skin color?
Yeah.
In what world do you say Donald Trump can fire an independent person who is in an independent position that ain't got nothing? How in the way? But they're continuing to give him power. They're giving him more and more power. The more and more power you give him, the closer and closer we become to being a dictatorship.
Yeah.
This is watch this to piggyback that. And this is like he said. This is the Supreme Court came out. This was prior to him. I don't know if he had just got presidency this time around, but came out because the whole argument came out. Say, can he say, I'm gonna shoot somebody because the whole thing came back about I shot somebody in the middle of Times Square and I'm okay. And the Supreme Court, forget what the people say. The Supreme Court came out and said he has immunity. As the president, they can't do nothing to him.
Yeah.
Well, they were talking about his 34 felonies.
Yeah,
They were talking about, and that was the reason why he really ran. I mean,
I know, but one of the arguments came up because one of the somebody mentioned that. Yeah. And his lawyer, that was part of a debate.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I remember that too.
Yeah, he can shoot him.
Yeah.
But he is literally he fired a U.S. attorney because a U.S. attorney refused to attack one of Letitia James.
Yeah,
he refused to prosecute her, and he's saying, I don't have nothing to prosecute her on.
Yeah.
And Donald Trump was like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Find something. Make up the law. Change the law.
Yeah.
You know, she forged a signature somewhere. Like, I don't have that. We got bigger things to do.
Anyone,
and he said,
anyone who was in on the raid at Mar-a-Lago, I want them all fired.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But sir, I was just doing my job because they said we had to go out there. I want you fired. All the ones who showed up in my house, you made a mess in my room. I want all of them gone.
Right.
Yeah.
And they fired them.
Yeah, I mean that's just what I mean. Like one thing Jarvis said, it's the times that we in. Times have changed. It ain't like it used to be back in early 2009 and all that stuff like that. So I guess that, Jarvis, we understand you running for District 29. And this coming up election, correct?
In March of 26.
March of 26.
Yes, sir.
And I guess the thing of it is, let us know when you have, the events, you're raising money and stuff to that nature. We definitely want to come out and try to support you on that aspect.
Right on.
And just to be biased, letting our audience know, we don't discriminate against Republicans or Democrats. We leave the platform open for anybody to come on. And we definitely got a few Republicans that's be coming on the next couple of weeks going to pitch themselves out there to that. But I'm openly saying, I'm a supporter of you. We've been friends forever.
Right. Yes, sir.
And not just because we're friends, but I like the things that you're doing. So we definitely going to be there to support you. In any event that you have, you need us to come out there to help, we'll definitely come out there and help you with that.
And that's we gotta have this, guerrilla campaign.
Yes.
It's gotta be in the streets. Gotta tell the people where it's at. We gotta pool our resources to make sure that people don't get confused. Because another thing about the 29th district, it is 60% Democrat and it's 40% Republican.
Yeah.
Which is kind of close.
Yeah, it is close.
It's close.
And the thing about it is, this is why I'm telling people, potentially, we can lose a 6 seat. We're already going to lose 5. But this seat right here was made to potentially lose a 6 seat. Because, again, as I talked about that picture in the book, the problem with the base of the party, when they don't feel like somebody's talking to them or with them or a name that they know and they're going to work hard for them, then they'll just stay at home. And if the black vote stays at home in November of 26, and there's going to be a Republican in the race, that Republican will win because we didn't come out and vote. Yeah,
and I think that's going to be a very important election to make sure black folks do come out, because they may have think they did their job by March and got the Democrats in, but again, that November is going to be very, very important. I didn't think about that. I'm thinking this one is very, very important.
Well, this one listen,
it's big too.
The 18th?
Yeah.
The 18th is important. I'm not going to take nothing from it, because for a whole year, you will have a congressperson in office if there is a big vote that comes up.
Yeah.
Because Sylvester Turner died.
And that's Amanda Edwards.
That was one. We were the Donald Trump's big ugly bill won by one vote.
Yeah.
One vote.
One vote.
That was the vote.
The vote, right.
That Sylvester had died on.
Yeah.
Right? So every vote matters.
Yeah.
And so for that year, we would have, the 18th will have representation.
Yeah. And
so when he died, they don't replace that seat right away? For it to they could have done it.
Yeah,
but because it was a Democrat seat, they just left it.
It was left to the governor's discretion.
Yeah.
And the governor made the decision to push this election all the way till November. And so when did Sylvester die? In January?
Matter of fact, when you mentioned this thing about Al Green, when Al Green stood up,
Yeah,
he died that
Right.
night.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was either January or early February.
You had all of that. So all that time. And that was done purposely so that's one less vote, because the margins in the House are so close from Republican to Democrat. So, the Republicans can't afford to lose a couple of votes, right?
Mm-hmm.
They can't.
Yeah.
And a lot of their, and Republicans just simply do whatever they're told to do.
Yeah.
Let me just educate you real quick. Why Republicans? Because you always see Republicans going to just follow each other blindly.
Yeah.
They're literally going to follow Donald Trump, even though they know this dude is lying.
Yeah,
right.
They know this dude.
We just talked about
that. You know he lying. There's a organization. You need to look it up. It's called Rock Ridge.
Mm-hmm.
Rock Ridge Network was created by J.D. Vance and a billionaire tech boy. And Rock Ridge was developed. They're nothing but billionaires. A whole group of billionaires. And their main focus is to reorganize the Republican Party to be stronger and to create more stronger Republican values. And they're going to do it through propaganda, media, and elections. So if you don't do what they're telling you to do, they'll go and make sure that they primary you to get you out and put somebody else in.
Who will do.
So all you got is a bunch of little Manchurian candidates. You got a bunch of little folk that just sit there and go, I am told that I need to vote however Master Donald Trump tells me to vote. Like, they don't have no thought. Like even when Donald Trump said you can spray bleach in your body and kill COVID. Well,
sounds reasonable.
Yeah,
Sounds reasonable.
Somebody did it. They took the to the hospital.
But I guess my question is this, and I don't know if I'm being a devil advocate, but
please,
do you blame the Republican Party taking the stance that they have done to do what they're doing? To get everybody that's Republican to think a certain way, vote a certain way, to do a certain way, so they can have control.
I want to be clear. It's not the Republican Party. It's a bunch of billionaires.
Okay.
There are about 20 billionaires in this country that runs this country. They just got a bunch of puppets. These boys don't know how to talk, think, or understand anything. They're just doing what they're told to do, and this is how they will continue to be in office, make money, and do whatever they want to do for themselves. They know in their heart of hearts that they're wrong. I have had a conversation with many a Republican.
Yeah, which I understand.
In the state house, and I'm listening to them, and as I'm talking to them, because they wrote a bill, and if they're talking about this bill, they don't know nothing about the bill. They were told to take the bill, go up there and read it. And anytime somebody challenges you, you just say, "This is freedom." That ain't got nothing to do with what I just asked you.
But I think the thing of it is, I understand why they're doing it. But I guess the question is, if the Democrats had the billionaires on their side, would they do the same thing that the Republicans are doing?
No. They won't. I think it goes back to what we just talked about as us as people.
Yeah.
We're like, dog. If you go ask many of go ask your great grandmama. Grandmama, you had a chance to enslave a whole bunch, would you do it? And they'll probably tell you no.
No,
that's not right.
I wouldn't do that.
That's not right.
Right.
Vengeance is mine, said the Lord, and this is why we come, and this is where we come from. We come from a place of morality.
Right.
I'm not gonna sit here and load my gloves up with rocks and get in the boxing ring and then pretend like I won fair and square, right? And this is what they're loading their gloves up with rocks, getting in the ring, fighting, and even when we get a good punch, they be like, oh, he hit me low. Like, no, it didn't, and they pulling their shorts up to, but they're cheating. So we wouldn't do it. So at the end of the day, Democrats truly want this country to be what this country is supposed to be: a democracy, freedom of expression, freedom of religion, freedom of love, freedom. That's what we need to get back there.
Yeah.
But truly, this country is not built on Republican, Democrat. It's literally built on billionaires that want to control where we are today. And ain't got nothing to do with D's and R's. Donald Trump is keeping this great divide, and this is why it's so masterful what this fool is doing, because before he even knew who shot that door, it was the left, because they're keeping us fighting, because as long as we fighting, we ain't paying attention that Donald Trump since January has made $5 billion since January.
Yeah.
We haven't paid attention to all of the things that he has been able to do. We have not understood the magnitude of what the Supreme Court has done and everybody else. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
This is where we are. So it ain't about D's and R's. But unfortunately, you have those that are willing to be used to the level that they're being used, and this is where the demise of this country will go. Because at the end of the day, we all go in cycles, man. And I'm gonna hurry up and tell you this. We all go in cycles in this country. You got to remember, in the 40s, during the, we had the Great Depression, right?
Yep.
Then we came out of the Great Depression, and we had the Great, this is when in the 60s, this is when the middle class was built, because we started building roads and bridges, and the middle class was built. And then you had the 60s to the 80s, and then that was when the oil crisis happened, and then we all dumped in the oil crisis, and then we went all the way to 2005, and then what happened there?
Yeah.
Then the housing market crashed that was happening during Obama, and then we go from 2005, now we're up to 2025. So we're going in these cycles. You can remember 30s to 50s, 60s, that's 20, 30 years.
Right.
60s to 80s, it's 20s. 80s to 2000, 25. So we're in this year where you're seeing we were here. Now we're about to go here because the economy is not doing well, regardless of what Trump is saying. Trump gonna tell his people, this is the greatest economy. Where you a lie, man? Unemployment is up, inflation is up, skyrocket, price of goods are up,
eggs up.
But guess who never, ever fails?
The rich.
The rich.
Yeah, the rich.
Because during the Great Depression, the rich got richer. Because you and I, we ain't gonna have no money. We got assets. We're gonna start fire selling assets just to keep afloat, because the banks still gonna want what the banks want.
Yeah.
Right.
You still gotta pay.
Yeah.
And so they're gonna start fire selling stuff. Then you're gonna look at, if you own stock, those corporations gonna come in and be like, I'll buy back your stock. And you're going to be so happy to sell off your stock because you're going to need some bread. You're hoping, you're glad you made a little something.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you're going to be happy. You're going to take that. Then you're going to take that little bread, save yourself, and then the economy is going to start inching back up. And then here you go. You're going to go buy some more stock. You're going to go buy some. So we're going to be back in that cycle again. That billionaires always want. They're going to always win. Yeah. And that's why we're focused on everything because this is very complicated, man.
Yeah.
It's extremely complicated.
Yeah.
And I just explained it, and y'all going, man, what the hell that dude talking about?
No.
But I know there's a lot of people that really don't understand. It's simple, but it's hard.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Yeah. But I appreciate you, though,
man. Definitely appreciate you on the show, man. You basically spit a lot of knowledge from what's going on. We're going to continue this cycle of getting some of the politicians on so we can educate ourselves, especially this time of the year. So we definitely appreciate you coming through. Appreciate Ron coming through. And we got Amanda next, so we're going to see whatever we can do to help. We want to make sure we can help. So if you need us to come out, we're going to definitely come out. We need to come out and do live broadcasts at the events or whatever you at. We'll definitely come out there too for that.
Right on. DeezNutz gonna be nice.
DeezNutz.
All right, man. Yeah, I do.